Episode 24, Water Contemplations.
Welcome to Thriving with Nature, a podcast that gives you the tools you need to live a modern lifestyle that helps regenerate our planet. And now your host, Hayley Weatherburn.
Hello Thrivers, and welcome to this week's episode. My name's Hayley. If you haven't met me yet, hello new Thriver. I am excited to talk to you this week, as I am every week. This time is definitely no different. This time I want to talk to you about water. Or if you're from America or Canada, it's water. Australians, we don't like to pronounce our R's. So apologies for those that hear me just say water. That's how we pronounce it in Australia. So water is, as we know, one of the most vital elements on this planet. Without water, we would all die. We're 70, 60, 70, 80. I hear all these different percentages of water, and it is essentially the majority of what we're made up of. Now, if we want to go down into the microparticles, then technically we're made up of nothing. But this isn't that kind of episode. Today, I want to share with you just a contemplation that when you're using water in your living supplement garden, on your organic veggies, there's a few things to think about when using this beautiful life-giving force. And the first one, of course, is contamination. What type of water are you using? Now, I shared that my house, I went and bought a hose. I actually went and bought the cheapest hose. And there's a very good reason why you probably shouldn't do what I just did. And now this hose, for the first, I would say 2 minutes or 1 minute of the water coming out, it just smells toxic. It smells plastic. It smells really not healthy. In fact, I try and walk away and not breathe in what's coming out because it just smells toxic. And so this is a big problem because you don't want to be putting toxic chemicals and plastics and all that on your garden, let alone be drinking this kind of water. It can really change things. And because water can look crystal clear and still have contamination in it, we can get very confused by that, like, oh yeah, that looks good. And then we can just drink it. But we've just got to be ultra sensitive. So chlorine will kill those beautiful microbes that you're nurturing in that soil, that you're wanting to flourish, that you're wanting to help bring the nutrients to the plants that you're growing. And just like that, if you're drinking water, it can affect the microbes inside ourselves. So water is really important. I have a filter at home and it's got, it uses activated charcoal, it uses ceramic, it uses colloidal silver. It basically gets rid of all the pathogens, dangerous pathogens, cleans out the chemicals so that I can use normal water. Now, I try and use that water to water my plants inside. Unfortunately, this filter doesn't filter very fast, so I can't use it on my garden. So what do I do to help improve the water that I'm using on my garden? The first thing is I let the water run probably 2 minutes so that the chemicals and toxins that are coming through the hose are not used. Then I fill a massive big bucket of water and I actually try and collect a lot of rainwater. Interestingly, here in Bali, it's dry season, but we're getting a strange amount of water, which is very helpful, unusual, but helpful. So I'm not complaining. And so I'm collecting rainwater as well. But if I haven't got enough rainwater collected, I will fill the bucket up. And I do a couple of things. I let it sit in the sun for at least 24 hours because that will allow the chlorine to evaporate as gas. And then if I'm feeling if I have this time and I feel like I can do this, I will utilize the aeration. Like I get like a fish filter and aerate the bubbles, because the microorganisms that are in an aerobic environment, which means oxygenated, are far more healthier than anaerobic microbes, which can, from what I'm understanding, be more detrimental to you when you've got anaerobic microbes. They're the ones that can cause disease and illnesses and things. So those are two things that I do to help cleanse the water. Ultimately, rainwater, collecting rainwater and just using that. But I mean, even that, it depends on the area. If you're in a highly toxic, polluted area, you may want to filter that water as well. So the other thing I want to talk to you about, so yeah, just making sure that the water that you're putting on doesn't have any toxic chemicals, has no pathogens, because there are anaerobic microbes that don't serve us, of course. As long as we have a balance of 80%, 20%, we should be okay, with the 80% providing us with that immune system, the defense towards illnesses and diseases. And it's the same for plants. If we start to treat ourselves like we treat plants, this is where we can really start to understand that their health is our health. I want to say that again. The plant's health in our garden that we're growing, that we're going to be consuming, whether it's the leaves, the fruits, the flowers, the roots, the healthier, more nutrient rich, hydrated, with fresh, life-giving water, the more we will be healthy. This is the connection. And I think if we scan right out of the globe, we will see that that is the same on the planet. And right now, our human health is out of balance. There's a lot of illnesses, a lot of obesity. We are not a healthy race right now compared to our environment, with species dying, environments collapsing. Look at the coral reefs and all that, the oceans acidifying. We're all out of balance. And the sooner we focus on both, ultimately ourselves and the planet, it will come back to a thriving oasis. That I really believe that we can get there. So yeah, the final thing I want to share a bit about water is, a while back I wrote a book called Is Your Fork in Tune? And I started to study the science behind our beliefs, the science behind, how we think, how our thoughts affect our beliefs, which affects our emotions, and it can affect our reality. And what I also discovered on this scientific journey was the amazing Dr. Masaru Emoto, who has now passed, who started some scientific research on the structures of water. And definitely, if you can, read the book Hidden Messages in Water by Dr. Masaru Emoto. And in it, it talks about how we treat water. The structure of water changed just by putting messages in the water. And what I mean by that is your intention, saying words to the water, saying I love you, thank you, I'm so grateful, this water is amazing. Just positive affirmations into the water changed the crystal structure, and the crystals were more fabulous as compared to the structures when there was negativity. I hate you, you're horrible, you're disgusting, all negative vibrations into that water. The crystals didn't formulate as well, and they weren't as fabulous on comparison, which suggests that we can do the same with us. We as humans get affected by the full moon, just as the tides get affected, because in my mind that we are 70% water. So we're affected by the cosmos. As the water is affected in biodynamics, depending where the planets and the moon and all that are, affects where the water and the energy is in the plant, whether it's in the roots, the leaves, the flowers, or the fruits. Anyway, you get the idea. So where the water is really, really important. And so talking to ourselves, in a mirror, talking to the water that we're drinking, I love you, thank you, I'm healthy, this water is making me become healthier and stronger. Saying those things into the water as you're drinking them, being in that kind of vibration will help be in the vibration of a more positive, create your crystalline structures inside your body to be more healthy, is the theory, is the hypothesis. And so the same goes as I'm here contemplating with the plants. So in biodynamics, which I'm only at the beginning of my journey of learning more about biodynamics, you can imagine, and there are research, and I will be looking more into it on this journey of the Living Supplement Garden, that when you talk to plants, they really respond. In fact, I have a friend who plays music using this machine to connect to a plant. She'll play music with her flute to a plant, and then the plant plays a song back, which is pretty amazing, like phenomenal. It's magical. And so, yeah, I encourage you, the next time you water your plants, that you really look into, where is this water coming from? Perhaps you potentially want to actually get it tested, You want to make sure that it's sort of balanced, if not more in the alkaline, more oxygenated water. You want to make sure there's no chemicals that are affecting the water, like chlorine and even fluoride. We know that fluoride helps teeth, but consuming fluoride, does it really help our body be its optimal health? There's diverse opinions on that. I think water in its purest form, if you've ever had the opportunity to be out in like rural bush nature and you get to drink water from a running river. We all know that like the river when it's alive, it's being aerated, just the running across the nutrient, the minerals of the rocks in the riverbed and that clear water, and you drink that. It's so revitalizing and so powerful. So that is this week's episode. Have a look at what water you're using and really start to think and start to talk to your water, talk to your plants, talk to yourself for optimal health. Reinforce yourself with positive affirmations and positive thought as much as you can. It is a mind management process that I'm constantly working on, and I really believe it's part of the optimal health process, as well as being interactive with your garden, being positive to that. I often talk to my plants when I go around the morning. I say, good morning, I touch a leaf. I really like to communicate with the plants as well. So that's this week's episode, beautiful thrivers. I really, really appreciate your subscriptions. Absolutely amazing. The Living Supplement Garden is about to start to launch. We're going to have more and more information about growing your living supplement garden. So stay tuned, and you have a magical day. We'll see you in a week. Bye.
Hey, if you enjoyed listening to my podcast, remember to subscribe to hear more. You also have to come check out the Thriving with Nature website, where all of my videos, podcasts, and resources are to take what we discuss here to the next level and apply it in real life. I'd love to have you come join myself and many others striving towards living a regenerative lifestyle. Go to thrivingwithnature.com.